Hi, today's topic is needle knowledge. We'll be playing with double needles, triple needles, decorative stitches, how to do a faux cover hem on your machine, double-eyed needles, how to make cording on your machine. Lots of fun things coming up. So grab your favorite refreshment, let's head over to the studio.
Threading for a twin needle is just like threading your machine on a normal basis. It's just that when you get to the needles, you're going to have to separate the threads and thread each needle individually. Needle threaders won't work. If you don't have a second spool pin on your machine or one's not available, the superior thread holder is one I like to use. It actually folds up and fits in my suitcase. We're starting with corded tucks and we need to make a cord for that. This is a fun way to do it, an easy way to make a cord. You're going to put two cords through your center hole of your bobbin, drop it onto your bobbin winder, engage the bobbin winder, and then step back and let the machine do the work for you. It only takes a couple of minutes and you'll have enough cord to do all kinds of fun things with. Besides corded tucks, you can use the cording for making belt loops, making loops for dresses for closures, on purses to hang things on. Just double twist the cord, it'll twist back on itself. You can also use the cords for making tassels, all kinds of trim work. Besides corded tucks, it'll even do corded buttonholes. So if you don't have a cord or can't find a cord in the color you like, you can always make your own. To make corded tucks on our machine, we first need, of course, a pin tuck foot. I've got a 1.6 twin needle in my machine, and I've got a cording guide that's attached to my machine. Some machines have this available. You might want to check with your local dealership to see if you have one for your particular model. Then you're just going to use a standard straight stitch and let the twin needles do the work. The bobbin creates a zigzag stitch on the back of the fabric that holds the cord in place, so you don't need to worry about the cord falling out. But those cords will help make your pin tuck stick up and hold up nicely even through pressing. By using the additional grooves in the foot, you can run parallel tucks in your fabric. Create your tucks before cutting your pattern out. Twin needles can also be used for creating decorative stitching. Make sure you narrow your stitch by a minimum of 2 millimeters. Rotate your flywheel from one side to the next to complete a full rotation to go the full width of the stitch before you ever start stitching to make sure it clears the presser foot. You will want to stabilize your fabric with undiluted starch, Terrio Magic, or similar stabilizer before stitching. You can also couch with a twin needle. I have a 1.6 twin needle and an open toe foot on my machine. I've selected an overcast stitch from my machine and narrowed it by 2 millimeters. You don't want to stitch through the ribbon. You might find that drawing a line with a pencil and using a product like GLUE-BASTE-IT, which washes out, by the way, to hold your ribbon in place before you actually start stitching over top might be useful in making it easier for you to couch your ribbon. Twin needles are also available in stretch, either a 2.0 or a 4.0. You see the blue bar across the needle? That will indicate that it is a stretch needle. I've also chosen my CLEARVIEW foot with a guide in the front. This is going to help hold my fabric flat as I stitch. You'll want to select a straight stitch pattern from your machine. Use a little spray starch on the back of your fabric and press the hem to the wrong side before stitching. You should be able to see the knit folded underneath through the top layer of fabric to help you guide your stitching, so the bobbin zigzag will cover the raw edge of your hem on the back of your fabric. The slight amount of spray starch that you used prior to pressing the hem will give that fabric a little bit of stability, allowing you to stitch more freely. This type we're going to go to triple needles. I've gone back to my open toe or clear view foot, giving me more visibility. A triple needle is the same as a double needle, except it's got 3 needles. You will need a 3rd spool of thread. So here's where your superior thread stand will come in helpful. Thread your machine with 3 different colors of embroidery thread. Choose a decorative stitch of your choice, remembering to narrow the stitch by 2 millimeters at least. Rotate the flywheel to make sure that the needles clear the presser foot on both sides before stitching. If you have a twin needle button option on your sewing machine, you'll get an entirely different look to your stitching. Other additional specialty needles that are available for your machine are wing or hemstitch needles. These needles actually look like they have wings on either side of the center. To show these needles at their best advantage, you want to choose a stitch selection from your machine that penetrates the holes in the design a minimum of 3 times each. I've drawn a light pencil line on my fabric prior to stitching to make it easier for me to follow in a straight line. A buttonhole stitch or similar pattern would be appropriate to use with this needle. Any stitch that's going to stitch more than 3 times into that center hole will give you an absolutely beautiful effect. These are fun things and easy ways to embellish any kind of project. Hemstitch or wing needles come in 3 sizes, size 100, 110, or 120. The larger the number, the bigger the hole they will create. I even like a 100 top stitch needle. That's the one on the left. This needle will produce a more rounded hole. There are also double wing needles. Now this includes a single straight needle on the right and a hemstitch or wing needle on the left. If your machine does not include a buttonhole stitch or similar pattern, you can get a hemstitch effect from your machine using a simple zigzag. Remember to narrow your stitch by 2 millimeters. Draw a pencil line on your fabric to follow. Your wing needle will be penetrating the fabric on the pencil line as you stitch. Whoa, you're not finished. Rotate the fabric and stitch back up the pencil line, matching the hem stitch needle back into the holes that it created on the first pass. This will give you 4 times into the same hole, pulling the fabric apart and showing that pretty decorative work. That turned out pretty good, but let's do another pass. This time we're going to lengthen the stitch out to a stitch length of 3.0. Remember to do that second pass so that the wing needle penetrates the same holes as the first pass. Yeah, I think I like that one better, don't you? This is a double-eyed needle. A new technique that I've found that's a lot of fun to play with. You can make any combination of 2 colored threads that you would like. So it gives you a variegated or shaded experience that you could make using a single needle. Now you can blend any 2 colors of thread that you like. So if you don't have a variegated thread available to you in the thread combination you want to use, you can make your own. This is a fun one to do with satin stitching because it actually twists the threads together, giving you a blended effect. Isn't that neat?
Check out some of my other videos on YouTube. And remember, it's only wrong if it doesn't work.